Heyo, hello, that's right. We're here. Right, listen up, folks. If you're watching live at twitch.tv/streamsbadly, then good. If not, why not? Because that's where we record this live. If you're not watching it live, you probably listen to it on Spotify. You can watch it on Spotify now as well. There's a video version, same as on YouTube. Or you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts and all of other shit. But the whole point of this is, if you're watching it live, you can see. If you're watching a video version, you can see we've got some new stream graphics. It's pretty cool. I just wanted to post about that. Judd can't see him. I tried to show him them, but his internet does not work well enough at all. So that's kind of, that's your own fault somehow. I'm going to also mention at the top of this podcast, you're probably going to hear some dogs and apparently some birds outside my window. Can you hear that? Can you hear those birds? That's why I mentioned them, because I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on with these birds? They're so loud. I've never heard birds be that loud. Oh my god, what's going on? They're just going anyway. So that's that. They don't. And the other thing is, I've got a different head. Shaved my hair. Two reasons for this. I had quite reasonably long, not very long, kind of medium length, I might say, kind of a little bit longer than Judd's hair currently. My hair was that long. I've had it like that for a while, and it's annoying. I've got curly hair, so it doesn't do what I want. It just curls wherever the fuck it wants. And honestly, firstly, I'm in the middle of a mental breakdown. Whenever I start this podcast, I switch into podcast mode, so you never notice. But currently in the middle of a mental breakdown. But secondly, I'm just too warm. I'm just too warm all the time. Too much hair on my head. It's too hot. And honestly, at one point, the reason I did it is my girlfriend came over and I was like, look, shave my head. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of it. Get all this stupid hair off me. It's really annoying. It's really warm. And honestly, it's not taken very... It's been, like, I don't know. It's been about 5 days since it was shaved. And it's grown back a little bit since then. Barely any. But I'm already gearing up to maybe shave it slightly shorter. Because, like... I want to be almost bald. I'm essentially buzz bald, and that's what I'm aiming for. Cause it's just annoying. It's just like a little carpet on your head that makes you warmer. And you were bald once. What were your thoughts on that sort of thing?
Whoa. I looked with the... What?
Judd's been muted this whole time. That's pretty cool. Anyway, carry on. I asked Judd a question. Carry on. I've unmuted you now.
Oh, God.
We're rolling with it. We keep going. Don't worry about it.
Nice. We roll with these fucking punches. Right. Anyway, when I was bald, when I cut my hair off, when I cut my head off, when I cut my hair off, I always found it quite liberating because it was just like one less thing to worry about, and I never really hated how I looked when I had the shaved hair and the beard that I had. So yeah. I always kind of liked it, to be honest.
That's a specific look that obviously works reasonably well, I think. For me, yeah. I can't grow a beard, so I look like a bit of a racist skinhead, which is not what I am, but I do kind of look like that. And my girlfriend said as well, I do look more intimidating, which was very low to start with. I'm not going to say that I look intimidating now. It's just that, like, I do so more. Still not intimidating. The other thing with it is, I look fatter. Like, I didn't realise how much your hair makes a difference to how fat you look. Like, I sent Judd a picture that it made me look fatter than I even am, but it was not flattering. And I didn't even realise that, like, shaving your head, honestly, I think it just shows off how round your face is. So, I don't know.
Yeah. It really does make...
I just don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm not bothered. Yeah. That's why I did it as well. I'm not... it's like I got on some work meetings and they were like, "Oh, you've shaved your head." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I have." and someone asked me in one of these work meetings, "Oh, when did you do it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've forgotten." Let me, because to me it was like the same as, it was like a bit of a chore. It was almost like a chore.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I've got a bunch of, like, I need to take bins out and they're getting full because I can't put some stuff in them. I'll take some to tape and I'll do that. It was like that level of a chore, you know, that you just forget about.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know. That's kind of how it was. Currently I'm planning on leaving it like this and just shaving it sometimes. But knowing me, I might get lazy and just not. I think what might happen is I'll just let it grow to the point where it annoys me again, and then I'll shave it off, and just repeat with that. So it might fluctuate quite a lot. It might get quite long before I shave it really down again. I don't know, but I don't know. That's the plan currently, anyway. But coming up in this podcast, most of it is going to be salty complaints. I'm going to be bitching about a lot of shit. That's the whole thing, okay? I'm going to be telling you about a bunch of things, like things people do, and kind of scenarios that annoy me. And we're going to rate these out of 10. Or I want to hear Judd's ratings of these out of 10. Previously, we've done a tier list on something like this, but I don't know. You could give him a tier list and like kind of a letter and a rating if you want. We'll roll with the punches. But I'm going to run through a lot of those. But also, as a little break in between that, I'm going to pick out. Judd's going to tell me a lot about Warhammer models that he thinks I might like, and I'm going to pick one because I've said previously that I would like to have one Warhammer model, just one. I only want one. I'll paint it all nice and I'll keep it somewhere. But that's the level of interest in that I am. Because obviously I know you like it a lot, but
It's fine. I'll be honest with you. This is way more sort of interest in Warhammer I thought it'd ever have, because I understand that Warhammer is the pinnacle of, there is a lot here, and it's for you fucking freaks to sit here in your little caves and go, oh my god, I wonder what the name of Gilliman's dog was during the Great Crusade. And it's like, you know, it's that kind of shit. And for you, with your ADHD mush brain, I think just even you wanting to pick out a model is great. So, you know,
it's kind of just because, right? If you know someone who's really into something, you're like, well, I'm gonna, dip my toes in it a little bit, understand why, try and, get a flavour of why they like it. I don't expect to like it myself, but it's that sort of scenario. As in, you've played a few Assassin's Creed games. My favourite video game series. When I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn and I absolutely loved it, I was like, oh, get that, it's quite cheap, have a play of it. You had to play, it's a similar sort of thing to that. I think.
Did, yeah.
In the same way that I've played,
I enjoyed Assassin's Creed a lot more than Horizon.
I've played a Warhammer game, and do you remember the whole story of that? I turned up to this, what we call nerd club. I mean, it's an endearing term, and there's two near where we live. There's the sweaty one and the nice one. And it was the nice one I turned up to. And the sweaty one's not an insult either, as in, I'm a sweaty Apex player. I like to sweat it out and, like, fucking do what I need to do to win.
No, you also mean sweaty as in the sweaty people that go to that one.
I was going to get to that. They are probably quite sweaty as well. In the same way that I'm also a big sweaty fucker when I'm playing Apex, and I'm a big, fat, gross, sweaty man playing my video game.
I gotta be honest with you. When I go to the shop, the people that I usually talk to and my friends, are all fairly, they're more normal than me. I gear that, they're a lot more normal than me. Wow. But they're quite nice people. But there are also those in there that they're not bad people or anything, and they're not, freaks or anything, but they've not been convicted
of many crimes.
I don't think they've been convicted of any crime. I think they're actually too shy and nervous to ever commit any crime.
I don't think they've actually been outside ever, really. Actually, when they get out there, they step out of their house into a Popemobile, so that it's still technically inside, and they drive right to the front door of wherever they're going. And then anyway. So I went to the nice one of these clubs,
let me tell you, you can smell it.
I went to the nice one of these clubs where it's just some old fellas who like models, and they look after it and everything. And one of them who I wouldn't see. He wasn't like the leader or anything. He was just like kind of the most kind of
No.
like accommodating of new. He was the most of them you can imagine are like, I'm just here to play my little model game. I don't really want to talk to this person who I don't know. Fair enough, I completely understand. But this guy was more willing for that, and you're like, do you want to have a quick game with me then? I think I was using your models. I might have been using his models against you. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was you were using his Necrons against my Emperor's Children. Was the game I remember?
And he said, we'll have the quickest game we can. And I was like, all right then. I was thinking this might be about 40 minutes long. Because I know they're quite long, these games. I know they're quite long. So 2.5 hours later, I'm thinking, oh my God, was a trap all along. They're actually just kidnapping me and forcing me to play this game for the rest of eternity. And that was the length of the game. It was 2.5 to 3 hours long. This small game. Oh, come on. Yeah. You know what, Judd? Can you go to the Council of Warhammer Nerds and be like, look, lads, this is too long. Let's be honest. Let's all be honest with ourselves. This game's too long.
Well, no, they did. They did something for that. It's called Kill Team, and essentially it's, instead of you having armies, you'll have a single squadron, but you use every model individually, and those games usually last 20 to 30 minutes because you're just using like 5 models.
I'm more interested in that. Is there a version of it where you use a single model, which is what I'm interested in? Do you just have one model? A bit like Pokemon, maybe.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yes. I'll do that one once.
Essentially, if you could take a custodian. Custodians are so fucking powerful. They like cost a lot of points. So whereas I could have like 5 like little dudes like cultists, and you could have one big beefy custodian, and he's like, the hero, and you can, so that's something you could do.
Sleep noises.
All right, okay. I'm saying, well, you can.
Honestly, we'll get into more of it later, but the playing element of that game, I just so don't care about.
I know.
The elements I care about is how cool the models look. That's my favourite bit, because the models look fucking sick. They do look really cool. My next favourite bit is when you tell me the lore of stuff. Then it's the actual lore of stuff, because those are different things. Because you tell it at my level. Yeah. And then my next favorite. Actually, no. Before the lore is Warhammer World. Before you telling me the lore, I actually really like Warhammer World because you get to see all the models. They've got a sick pub. Then it's you telling the lore. Then it's the actual lore. Then it's actually playing it. It's like way down there. I don't care. It's so boring. Honestly. Anyway, moving on. We're going to have to get into this quite quickly. We've waffled for too long. I want to tell you about a bunch of shit that annoys me, right? I've got a list. Let me count how many of these there is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 15 of these now. I've been keeping this list for a little while, about a week or two maybe.
You've not even kept this for the fucking podcast. This is just something you've had like all your life. You just have a big fucking book and you're just like, right, number 347 of things I don't like.
You do realise I have kept quite a detailed spreadsheet on our ratings of movies and TV. We're literally over 1,000 of those. So, so right, I'm just going to get into it. Right, the first thing is the way most restaurants and maybe shops work, but specifically restaurants work. Their whole method of how you order your food and how you pay for it and all of that, right? The prime reference of what's better, a better way of doing it, is Nando's. Nando's does it well, right? In Nando's, you go up to the till, you order your food, right? You pay for it, and then you get your food. It just comes to you. Then when you're done with it, you can fuck off whenever you want. Whereas in a normal restaurant, you have to. Sometimes you have to stand at the door, wondering whether you're supposed to be wait for a waiter or a waitress to come and show you to a seat. So that's a bit of a wait. And then you sit down, and then they fuck off somewhere, and you're looking at the menu, and then like, oh, can I get you some drinks? You're like, yeah, I want this drink, and then they fuck off and get you drinks. You're like, right, okay, I have to look at my food, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, when they come back with your drinks, they might fuck off again. They might not ask if you want your food yet. And then you have to wait for them to come back. And then you're like, I want this food, please. And they're like, okay, they go and get it. And then they bring it. And then once you've eaten it, you're like, just sat there like a fucking asshole. Just like, what are you even doing? And then they come and collect your food. And sometimes, if you're not savvy enough, they'll just fuck off with your plates. And then you have to try and look at them and catch them to ask to pay for the food. Why is there so much waiting? What's going on here? Who made this the standard practice? This sucks. Why are we doing this for? Carveries, right? You don't do that. You go to the bar. You go to the bar and you order your food and you pay for it and you get your carvery. Nando, that's the prime thing, because you just go and get your food straight away. You don't have to wait for them to bring it to you. You just go and get it. Then Nando's is pretty good, because obviously they have to prepare it. I kind of give a bit of leniency on that, but Nando's does it well as well. It enrages me. What are we doing here? I honestly, every single time, if they come and ask for drinks, right, to start with, I try and make sure my food's ready, so I know what I want, so that I can just order both in one go. Right? And when they come and collect my food in a normal standard practice, I specifically say, can we have the bill, please? Then. Straight away. Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all this stupid fucking waiting. Pisses me off. What do you think of that, Judd? How much does that piss you off?
You know, it doesn't piss me off at all, because I don't mind sitting and having a drink and waiting. I'm all right with like chilling out a bit.
You've got no choice to do that. You can't choose. If you do the Nando's system, you can still sit round and have your drink and that. You can still do it. You can do whatever you want. It's not a problem.
I really don't care, but at the same time, I understand that if we were talking about if this was like this is the optimal. What you're presenting is the optimal way for a restaurant to work. It is the optimal way,
and I just don't understand why they don't just do it. Why don't they just do it? All of them. Just stop fucking round.
Well, yeah. I get it, but also at the same time, I don't care. So
Your mic's quite loud.
That's what I've got. Oh, sorry. I get it. You're making valid points. All of your points are valid, and I agree with them. I simply do not care.
Good God. Well, that's the first one that pisses me right off. Honestly, stuff like that, it gets to me more than it should, because I see... Like, to most people, they see, it's just a bit annoying to wait round. But then I think, but why is it? Why are we waiting round? It's because of some incompetence of someone not wanting to do that, not realising that system's not as good. Or it's that they don't care. Or it's that they're pressured to social norms. Anyway, either way, whichever reason it is, they're all fucking ridiculous, and they all affect so many more things than just the restaurant system that it ruins the fucking world. And this is why I have mental breakdowns. Right, you big bitch, you can drive now, right? Quite a few of these things are going to be driving related. So,
not well. I can.
Have you been on a motorway yet?
I have. I drive through to work every day on the motorway.
Okay, so you do it regularly now then. So you will have experienced what I'm going to talk about. It probably won't affect you too much because your car's a piece of shit. So I'm guessing that when you're on the motorway, you stay in the slow lane and do about 60.
Yeah, I usually am. I don't only stay in the slow lane. If there's a fair few cars in front, I'll spend a little while in the fast lane. It's just my car, it struggles building up speed quite badly.
I wouldn't run your car for especially all the way to Leeds from where we go, more than 65 miles an hour. I wouldn't dare run it that. I mean, it's not completely terrible, but. It's an older car, and I wouldn't dare do that. So, what I'm gonna this thing that annoys me, and it gets me so pissed off every time, is when a truck, like a lorry, a loaded truck, tries to overtake another truck on the motorway, and it's doing 1, maybe 2 miles an hour faster than the truck it's trying to overtake, but it takes up so many of the lanes, and depending on where you're going, sometimes there's only 2 lanes on the motorway, on the highway, sorry for all the people listening in Seattle. It's so annoying. It means I normally run my car, because it's quite a new, decent car, at around, officially, I run it at 70 miles an hour. That's my official, actual answer. But my joke answer, it's a joke, it's just a joke, 75. But it means I
Yeah.
have to slow so down to like 60, 62, maybe 66 if I'm lucky. Sometimes it's as low as 55, and it's like, oh my god. And the thing is, if they're doing that for... If I'm doing a journey that's 100 miles long, that adds on so much time. And if you're going on one of those big long roads, it's gonna be a long journey, normally. It's like, I don't understand why they don't just do a mile an hour less. Just do 1 mile an hour less.
Yeah.
I'm having to do 20 miles an hour less because of you, and not just me, so many people, like hundreds of people that had all be going past the fucker, have all had to slow down by about 20 miles an hour. It's insane.
Yeah.
What do you think of that one?
I understand where you're coming from this one more. I don't think I've been in that specific situation yet, but what a similar situation I have been in is, say, like I said, my car struggles to build up speed. It's not very good with speed. So if I've gone into the fast lane to overtake some cars, and I'm still there, and a car comes up behind me, I'm thinking I want to move back into the middle lane and back to the slow lane as soon as possible, because, like I say, my car isn't good at going fast, and there's people behind me that want to go fast, so I want to come over.
Gotta go
So
fast.
That's my problem is, specifically I cannot go fast. That's the problem. So I'll have a car on my left in the middle lane, and I'm trying to speed up because I can't slow down because there's a car behind me. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to speed up, really trying to speed up, and this guy is matching my fucking speed, and it's like I've got my blinkers
I know what
on
you
to
mean.
say I need to come over.
In fact,
They're
that
not
might
paying
actually
attention.
be on here.
Yeah, it might be, but I've
it might
not
actually be on
experienced
this
the truck thing. But
it's a similar
yeah.
thing to when you go to someone's doing it, you know, 5 or so miles an hour less than you. You come up behind them, you think, I can overtake these. It might be a little bit slow overtaking, but, you know, decent pace to overtake them. So you indicate round them, and then they speed up by 5 miles an hour, and you're just next to each other. It's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? You know, they decide to speed up only when you start overtaking. Come on. Oh, good God. Anyway, next. Moving on.
But anyway, if we are talking about how much that pisses me off, I'd give that like a good. I give that a 6 actually. I want, because I do eventually get past them, you know. So
the trucks. It's just kind of like they must be bored and not give a shit about people. I don't know. It just like a lot of these is just people not fucking caring about anything and anyone around them, and it's just like just ignorant. Just next, people not doing enough speed while driving. Now I sound like a bit of a BMW Mercedes driver who wants to do 90 miles an hour everywhere, but what I'm saying is just the speed limit. I'm just like, if I'm in a 30 zone and someone's doing like even 25 miles an hour, it's a bit annoying. It's like, come on, your car can do 30. Even the shittiest of cars can do 30 miles an hour. But and if you're on like, a lot of the time, you might have a 60 miles an hour road that's straight, like it's a straight road, smooth as anything, no hills, nothing like that. And someone will be chugging along at like 46. And like, just come on, just go though. Like, a lot of the time, and sometimes I understand people's cars aren't as great, but a lot of the time you'll be in a scenario where someone's just go faster though. It's like, I understand there's reasons not to. But a lot of the time, it lines up perfectly well, and you could go faster, and people are just not. And it seems like some weird, out-of-nowhere thing that it almost feels like they're doing it specifically to piss me off. It feels like a conspiracy, because it's like all the stars have aligned so that you could go as fast as that, and you're just choosing not to. Why wouldn't you? What's going on here? It's like just, I don't know, that one's like... It's not as bad as the trucks, this one, for me, because... I kind of know some scenarios where some people might not want to go the full speed limit, even though they maybe appear like they could do. So I guess sometimes I can give a free pass on this, but overall, it's just like... It's a small... It's one of those where it's so small that why aren't you doing it? you could say it's so small that why are you getting annoyed? But it's also so small that, like, it'd be really easy to do as well, you know?
So, I must get fucking so angry at people not going fast enough, like, once a day. Because it's a scenario. This happened earlier today. This is exactly the kind of shit I'm talking about. It's not necessarily when people are that annoys me a bit when people are driving around slow. But what annoys me more is when I'm in like a bit of just like a spot or like a situation on the road, and I need to like, it's usually like on junctions, like I just need to turn in somewhere. I just need to do something with my car. But first, before I do that, I need somebody else to go. So I'm not like, you know, for instance, I don't like pull out on them and, you know, we both crash and die. I just need them to drive past me. But they're just being too slow. They're just going too slow, and I'm there ready to do something. So like earlier today, I just come off the motorway, and I wonder if you'll know where I'm talking about when I say I just came off the M1 near Woolley Grange, and I was going up quite a steep hill that's a 40. Do you know where I'm talking about?
I don't know names of places near us. Like, I know Woolley Grange is a place near us, but I can't picture it. It must be the autism or synesthesia or something.
Yeah.
You'd have to tell me weird things. You'd have to tell me weird things like there's a bit that bends a lot to the left and then a tiny bit to the right, and then you might see 3 to 6 sheep. Now then, I actually would know what you mean. That's near Penistone, that is. I can see it right now in my brain. But the area, I can't tell you what it's called.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyway, so there's just this bit where, like, the road's really weird, but it's sort of like... On the left-hand lane that you're in going, like, up this steep sort of 40-mile hill... 40-mile hill. There is a bit of the, like... that comes out of the pavement, and it like has, I think it's like a light on it or something, but essentially cars are meant to stop there, and other cars coming down go past. They have right of way. You're just waiting for them to go past, and then you go up the hill. But it's just like, I'm parked up in this bit behind 2 other cars, and this is it's not quite a steep hill, it's just fairly steep, but you know how shit my car is with like having to control the clutch, like the clutch is so high up and stuff.
Fuck me, yeah, and the clutch is awful. I bet it's not great up hills as well in general.
It's not. It's fucking terrible. It's really bad up hills. So I like want to try and not like fully stop on a hill. I want to like go up. I just want everybody to do everything right so I can keep like the car in like a second gear or something and keep it going, and we can all just move, like, you know, and just go up this hill. And I'm coming. You just sent me a message saying buy a pop filter. So anyway, I'm wanting to go up this hill, but I'm waiting for this old woman to come down so that I can pull out into her lane and go up this hill. And it's like in this bit of the hill, it's 30 and then goes up to 40 when you're further up the hill. But this must be like a 30-mile bit that she can be in, and she's going like 15 miles per hour. And it's like she's looking at us. She's like looking at us like, oh, look at them. They're in a bit of a spot, and they need to get where I am. And I'm watching her slowly come down, and I stared at her, and I physically went, hurry up, like at her so she could see I said it. I went, hurry up, like that, and she went, oh god, and like it started going.
Oh god, I've got a funny story similar to that as well. Actually, I was so pissed off at how many shitty drivers were driving around. This was a little while ago. I was pulling to this was really near my girlfriend's house. It's a T-junction. There's a main road, but it's like an estate that goes onto it. I hope that makes sense. And I wanted to turn left, I believe. I want to turn right out of this junction. Now, it might be a little bit confusing for you Seattle folks. Bear in mind that people drive on the other side of the road in the UK, so turning right is the harder turn. You have to cross traffic for it. Okay. Now, this person I pulled up behind was turning left, I could see that by the way they were positioned, but they weren't fucking indicating left. So they were I didn't know they were just about to pull out to go left. I was pulling up behind them, and I was like, I'm so fucking sick of drivers. They're not fucking indicating. And I was telling my girlfriend this a bit before we'd set off, and she said, just use your horn more at people, just beep at people. So, you know what? I did, and I beeped them as they set off, and they set off, turning left, and I pulled up to the junction so I could see all the road, and it must have scared them so bad because they pulled over right away, straight away, like just a few meters up the road, and they were like, oh, fuck! So it must have scared them loads. I don't know. I felt quite good about it, actually, because it would be fucking stupid. Not indicating. I've not put it on this list because I know we've kind of rated that before. But that is it pisses me off so much. It's so easy. It's one of the most effortless things you could ever do. Yeah. Just do it. It's so easy.
I know.
It's similar to wearing a mask for COVID. It must be so much easier than faking a doctor's report so that you don't have to wear a mask on a flight. I wonder who would do that. Can't be our dad and his partner. It couldn't be that. You don't listen to this podcast. Who fucking cares? Speaking of kind of a bit of similarly related to what you were just on about, when you're driving, we will get past driving ones of these, by the way. When you're driving and someone lets you go. Do you know what I mean by that? So say I was wanting to turn right, but there's traffic in the way, and some of the traffic slows down, and they might flash the lights at you for you to let you go. I don't like that. That's just annoying.
I know you don't, but I don't get it.
It's annoying because it doesn't actually help. It's not any better. All that means is, now that you've let me go, I have to make sure that you know what you're doing and look at every single thing around me to make sure I've not missed something and that I can actually go. Otherwise, if you didn't let me go, I could just wait for the traffic to be clear and I wouldn't have to look at everything else that's going on. It's not actually really that helpful to let people go. There's some scenarios where it can be, but most of the time, it's not helpful.
Well, I've not been in a situation where somebody's let me go and then I've been like, great, now I gotta get a bead on this whole fucking situation. The only times that anybody's let me go, I've been on like a relatively sort of quiet bit, and I'm just like, oh, cheers, mate, and I just pull around. So I've never been in a situation where it's like, I don't know, but. Yeah, probably, because like if like maybe I'm in a busy city like Leeds, and I've got a fucking funny story about driving in Leeds that happened to me. I'll tell you if you want. If I'm in like a busy place like Leeds, and Leeds is a fucking complicated place to like drive around.
Yeah, for such a small city, it's actually really difficult to drive in.
What do you know the actual reason why it's so?
You've never driven in a place like a UK city. Every American city is like grids in it, so Jesus.
Yeah, but do you know why it's so actually like awkward driving around Leeds?
I would guess because it's expanded quite a bit, and it's had to be retrofitted to roads that weren't kind of ready for expansion.
That's a good, smart answer. The real answer is actually far more ridiculous. It's because the guy who designed it doesn't drive, but he actually cycles. So
great. And you know what? I bet he fucking cycles on the road as well instead of the pavement. Those are probably my most hated people. Just above people who ask you what your best price is on Facebook Marketplace. Those are the worst. Those are the two worst people there is on the whole planet. Forget rapists and murderers. Those ones are the worst. Last driving related one. Then you're in a long line of traffic. You might be getting ready to pull off. The light might still be red or whatever, and you see a motorbike just go boom down the side of your traffic. Fuck you! No. Don't think just because you've got a motorbike, it's a thinner vehicle that should be allowed. It's not. Fuck you. Yeah. For a start, wait your turn. Like, just because you've bought a motorbike don't mean that you should be allowed to skip traffic. Also, it's fucking dangerous. It's not safe. Yeah. If you were a person, right, a pedestrian on foot, walking down that side of the traffic, So bear in mind, motorbikes, when they do this, they don't go on the side that's got the pavement next to them as well. They go on the side that's got both ends of traffic next to them. If you were a pedestrian doing that, everyone would be like, what are you doing? Get out of the road! You know? Because it's stupid. You can get hit by oncoming cars! And a motorbike's wider than a person, depending on how fat you are. And so, I don't understand how I think it's legal, right? I think you can do that if you're on a motorbike legally, and I don't think you should be able to legally do it.
I feel like it is legal, yeah.
So, what do you think of that?
I've got to agree with you. It does sort of just feel like, dude, come on, like fucking, it only takes like one thing to go wrong with such a narrow of a gap, and it's also just fucking wait your turn. You don't get a special pass just because
it feels like the kind of
something
doing
different.
It's out of snobbery. Like, I've bought a motorbike, so I can do this.
Yeah,
you know, that's what it feels like as well. Like that's actually not one of the ones that annoys me the most, but it's like, come on, like the main reason it feels like you're doing that is because you're like a bit of a snob. So that's that, right? Yeah. So I've got quite a few other ones that aren't to do with driving and all sorts of stuff. Some of them I fully realise are a lot more ridiculous than others, and they're more of my stupid autismo brain being silly. But, you know, I think they're justified, and we will get to those. But we're going to take a look at these the Warhammer stuff we were on about earlier. So I've said, Judd, you're very into Warhammer. Would you say that Warhammer is your kind of favourite franchise? Being as Marvel's probably my favourite.
Yeah, absolutely. I've probably spent over £4,000. Like, if I think about everything in any way, shape, or form that's related to this franchise, not just the models. I've probably spent over $4,000 on this franchise.
I just $4,000 on any franchise, not even close.
It's just the fucking story of it. It's such a good fucking story, and it has its ups and downs because it has a lot of different writers like comics. There's some good comics and there's some bad comics, but it's just the fucking scope of it and the story.
There's some Warhammer comics.
There is some Warhammer comics. Manius Calgar got his own Marvel series.
You know, whenever you say someone's name, like Marvelous Balbar, or whatever you just said, I tune out so hard. It mildly annoys me. It's like the type of names where it's you've made up, whoever made that name up has made up so many bullshit fancy names. I can tell. It shows. It shows. They're not good names anymore. You made too many of them.
You start just throwing shit at the wall. Every now and again, you get a name that you just go, "Oh, that's a good one. That works." But a lot of the time, you just go, "What? What's it called?"
That one you just said sounds so generic, fancy game that oh, shut up. Just call him Dom or something. Just call him Luke or just something.
The reason
you don't
why
have
that
to be
is
fucking fantasy sounding.
In charge. He's in charge of the poster boys, so he needs a really generic fancy name
no, call him David. Just call him David. Call him David Smith. Dare you? Warhammer man, whoever makes these names, right? I dare you. The next character you come up with, just call him a generic name like that and see what happens. See what people think.
I promise you, they have got a random wheel generator that they just spin, and it's got a different sounds on everyone. So they just go, and that's part of a name.
Well, I'm calling them out.
That's how they
anyway,
make the names.
Next, I'm going to go through these images that you've sent to me. You sent a bunch of images of models. I'll put them on screen for the video version of the podcast. And have you got these images up? I'm going to go through all the ones you sent me, and if you can give me a bit of a brief kind of, I don't know about a story, but maybe a story, a mild backstory, who they are, type of dealio. Yeah, rundown. So we've got kind of kind of a long-haired, gingery man. He's got a gun. He's a little chunky. He's got a bit of a really thick cape and a big old Wolverine claw hand thing. It's massive. It's bigger than his own head. It's huge. I think this guy looks a little bit goofy. He looks a bit too goofy.
Yeah.
For me.
he looks goofier because he's an older model, so you know it's not as refined as it is now. But this dude, I think he's called Luca the Trickster, and he's essentially like he's a space wolf, so you know he's that sort of like hardy like Viking lad, like he likes to fight and he likes drinking and shit like that because he's a space yeah.
He's not called Loki then.
No, he's called Luca, which are very different. I don't know a whole lot about this dude, but I just think it's the idea of he's less the sort of like barbaric sort of Viking sort of style, and he's more sort of like playful and jokery.
Doesn't look
not
tricksy
joker,
enough,
saying
pass.
the Joker.
Anyway,
okay.
Next, this guy's Horus Heresy.
I know.
I've moved on.
Hold on.
We're moving on. No, moving on.
Okay,
Don't care about him. It's pissed me off. Next guy. What I will say about all of these, they all look in the same way that Gears of War kind of doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
They all look just a bit like too chunky to the point where like they feel a bit like clunky a bit in a way.
Yeah.
So this next guy is Julius Caesar in a big clunky armor. Then.
Yes. No, you're bang on.
He looks just like that. This is okay. I know this model's very expensive from what you told me that. I don't like.
Quid.
Does it come with this whole plinth thing? Is it stood on a big marble plinth type of dealio?
So it does come with that, but what's cool, I've actually got like another model like this right now, so I can show you this as an example. So this whole thing is like a scenic base, you know, like how he stood on the whole marble
big
plinth
fancy
thing.
base.
But
with
it also comes with.
But you can also take him off, and he's got his own little base.
It also comes like that.
Yeah. So could you get that model just with the simple base?
Yeah.
And would that be cheaper?
No, it comes with that.
It has to come with a big marble thing.
It comes with that, but yeah, but you don't have to build it or anything.
Yeah, not interested.
Then
I don't like the idea that I'm forced into having a big marble dealio. He's out. I'm being strict with these. If there's an element I don't like about all of them, I'm not going to buy any of them. So next is one of the guys I was more interested in. This guy's got a big old space-looking axe. The axe is taller than him. That's quite cool. I like the axe. The axe is pretty cool. He's not got too much flamboyant stuff going on. He looks chunky in the same elements that they all do. This guy looks pretty cool. What's his name?
Trajan, I believe. No, is it Trajan?
There's the third one.
Something like that. Some fucking shit.
He looks. He's painted. He's got like white, grey hair. It looks kind of old. He's got goldish armor in this image of Scent. I would probably try and do different colors. I don't know how blasphemic that is. I don't want him to have grey hair. I don't appreciate old people very much. Sorry. I know I'm going to be old one day, but when I'm old, I'll be like, I'm fucked. I'm old. Well, I mean, I do appreciate old people in a different way, not in the way I want a model to be, one of these models to be appreciated. I want like an old warrior. Yeah. An old warrior, I'm not interested in. An old philosopher or intellect or storyteller, now that shit I'm very into. Whereas this guy's obviously, he's got a massive fucking axe. I don't want him to be old, That's kind of what I'm saying about it. Who's this guy? Tell me a little bit about this guy.
So this dude, I'm trying to find his fucking name. I don't know why his name's not coming up anywhere, but I will find you his name up at some point, I promise. He is essentially have you heard of the Emperor of Mankind at all? Like, do you know anything at all? Or have you just heard that?
Dude, every single time you've ever told me about Warhammer, I've forgotten it within minutes.
So, all right, so the main sort of dude, the guy who like runs humanity, is in charge. So this guy is like his sort of main bodyguard. Now bodyguard sounds like he's always at his side. He's not always at his side. He's not always protecting the dude. It's more like he is in charge of like the Emperor's most elite warriors, and they're sent to sort of like wipe out threats that would affect the throne, like the homeworld itself.
He's a Darth Vader, then.
So he's a
Darth Vader.
He's like a Darth Vader. He's a Darth Vader.
Like that.
For the Emperor. So he's in charge of the most elite of the Emperor's forces, the Custodians, who are like Space Marines on crack or steroid, like they're just fucking bullshit. And that's essentially his job.
I like his Darth Vader,
yeah,
but he does take orders from someone. How like
Well,
is he like fully taking orders from this guy, or can he kind of be like, nah?
No, here's the neat part. He doesn't take any orders from the Emperor because the Emperor's fucking dead. So that basically means he's got free reign of the custodians. So he's like he still believes in the Imperium, and like he wants to, because the Emperor's, it's this whole nerd shit. The Emperor's still there, but his soul's back. You don't need to know about that. He's still sort of there, but he's
What
dead.
is the Imperium then? What's their general dealio? Are they like the Imperials in Skyrim?
You know humanity. There you go.
I've heard of humanity.
That's
I don't really like humanity.
That's the human empire. And you'll probably like them even less in 40k.
Yeah.
He is a human.
Okay,
he is a human.
This guy's alright. He's the front runner so far. Out of the ones we've looked at, he's the front runner.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Now, the next one, you've told me this is more of a generic character. I will say, when I was looking through these, I do think this character looks the most badass. The sword looks fucking cool. He's got a gun arm. I don't like the skull thing that's kind of propping up off him. I'd probably literally cut that off the model if I had that.
Yeah,
I think that was a bit silly.
Probably could.
Other than that,
you probably could.
This guy looks fucking bad. It's the pose. And kind of how the sword's done and the colours and stuff. I think that is a way that a model being kind of chunky works well for it. The other three, maybe the axe guy kind of works a bit well, but the first two the clunkiness don't work well. You know, the clunkiness of the whole universe. Whereas the clunkiness of obviously it's a space marine, isn't it? This is the poster boy type of deal. Yeah, I know space marines and what they look like. So but
it's. Yeah, so this guy, like I said, he's not like a named character. He doesn't have any lore. I just put him in the list because it's like he's just you can do whatever you want with him because he's meant to be whatever you want. He's like your dude. So
he doesn't have a name or anything. You could paint it any colours, really, then?
Yep. Yeah. Not only could you paint any colours, but really, technically, you can put him on the table and say, that's canon, that's how they look. And that's right. You can say nothing about that. So
price-wise, out of number 3 and number 4, then, what we're talking, which is cheaper?
Yeah. I think number 4 is definitely cheaper.
How much are we talking?
Give me a second, I'll find it out. For
Be very quick, or I'm going to get bored.
That. So my internet, you son of a bitch. It's not coming up with this dude. I swear to God, he's like been removed from the face of the earth. I swear, Games Workshop's
number 5. Number 5. I'm showing it on screen now. I'm not going to talk about it on podcast. It's too much. As with a lot of models for me in Warhammer, they very quickly become too much, like over the top. There's all sorts of shite going on with them, and it's not. I don't want models to be like. I don't want anything to be completely subtle. It's just that like. They have to. I don't know. There's a level of balance that is I probably could describe, but I can't be bothered to describe.
I've got this guy on the desk in front of me. So just really cool about this thing first is you'll not be able to remember, but ages ago we did a drunk stream where you were doing some drawing.
Yeah.
And you wanted something to draw, and you said, just give me the name of one of the guys from fucking Warhammer, and I'm just going to draw what I think he looks like. And I said Abaddon, and that guy is Abaddon. But
what
you,
did I draw?
you drew like a train or like some weird train, but it was like a worm or something. I think it was weird. but that's Abaddon. That's actually. So
I'm not into that one. Just that. What I will say is something that I appreciate within these models is I realize this universe is kind of space-bound. People can travel and destroy planets. They can travel to planets. There's all sorts of technology within this universe. So when I see a person using a melee weapon, I'm thinking,
that's
probably not the best weapon.
It makes sense. It makes sense in universe. It's this whole thing about how like combat's gone like full circle because it's like horseshoe.
I mean,
when you go so far in one direction,
in with Dune as well, and I don't appreciate how they did it in Dune as well. So if someone has only a melee weapon and not a gun, then that's a little bit points off for me. Okay, just saying.
Well, he's got a gun. He's got a gun.
So, no, I know that guy. So what I'm saying is number 4, so the Space Marine, I think they're above the big axe guy currently. Because big axe guy, he ain't got no gun.
No,
Space Marine's cheaper and he doesn't have a gun.
if you look
Judd,
at
he's not
his
holding a
axe,
gun. Decision's been made. Number 6.
No, he is. He literally is holding
Too
a gun.
late. I
If you
am
look at
not
his
very
axe-
democratic with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But he is though. That your
Too
point's
late,
invalid
Judd. I
because
haven't
he
seen a
is.
gun, so I don't know he's got a gun. So I'm sorry, that's not my rules,
Idiot.
except that they are. So next, number 6. This guy's got a cross in his forehead. Too much religion. Don't like it, and he doesn't have a gun. Skip.
He does have a gun. He has a gun.
Judd, he's not
You're
holding. He's not holding a gun. He's got a fucking purple sword. Okay, he looks a
well,
bit
look at his
religious.
van.
He's got a Bible chained to him, for all I know. He's got a Bible kneecap. He's got like a fucking book on his shin. No, I can't read.
like-
This guy's got an
that's for,
open
like,
book on his shin,
like
and I can't
powers.
read. This offends me. He's holding a
That's
fucking
like for
flag on
using
his
magic
back.
powers
What's
and
that
shit.
for?
That's so he can like shoot lightning
No,
out of
I'm
his
out.
fucking
I'm out.
hands.
I actively don't like him. He's annoyed me. Gone. Next.
He's really cool.
There's an orc guy that you've done. Now, this guy, he complements the chunky aesthetic. I like this. You've shown me this guy before. He looks familiar. He was in your one of your top favourite characters, right? When you did this.
That is the mad bastard Gaskell Mac Uruk Fraka. Oh, there you go.
Right. I'm going to call him
he's
Clive.
Cool. He looks
fuck the people who make those names
that's
up.
cool.
The mad bastard
fine.
Clive.
That's fine.
He looks cool for this sort of
yeah.
aesthetic. I like it. I like this. Do you have to buy him with this little mini guy? There's like a little mini goblin next to him.
He does. He comes with him. But I'll
does he have
say
to?
this really quickly for it. He does have to, yeah.
I'm
I'll
out.
say really
I don't
quickly
like
though.
being
It
forced
looks
into that.
like there's a lot going on. Okay. It's such a weird fucking nothing complaint that as well. It's like you're getting a free model along with your model.
No, I'm not.
I believe
I'm being
that model is
forced
like
to buy
one
another
piece.
model. Knock off a fiver.
It's retarded.
And
it's
make
so
me not have to
stupid.
buy that little model. I don't like it.
Well,
other
they
than that, I
simply
kind of
can't
like
do
him.
that,
But
Jay.
let me
You
say,
can't take
even
money out
if
their pockets, no
even,
stuff.
even if that was the case, even if you could buy this big orc guy on his own, he'd be up there. This looks cool. This orc guy. He's got kind of got bandage wires up. He looks cool. It's not fully me. It weren't going to be me, really, was it? I'm still thinking this Space Marine currently, and I'm a bit annoyed at myself because that's so basic, isn't it? But I think I'm a bit of a basic guy when it comes
I
to
think
this
it's a
shit,
cool
you know?
choice. I feel like that's a very cool choice for a model that you just want to build and have on the side that you can do whatever
just
you
one.
want with.
If you're only going to have one,
a dude.
pretty iconic, innit?
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So the next
Yeah.
one's a bit of a Grim Reaper guy. Looks like he comes from Overwatch. It's not
Yeah.
my deal. Don't need to go into it. It looks fairly cool.
Okay.
He's got a bit of a gun scythe from what I can see. Looks
Yeah.
quite cool. He's not me.
I'm glad that you don't want me to talk about this guy either because I really don't know anything about this dude's lore. I know he's
Moving
cool.
on,
He's supposed
then.
to be cool,
We've-
but I don't know him.
We've
so.
got a dude that looks like he's a kind of like maybe was a Space Marine at some point. He's a little bit kind of diseased looking. He's wielding a hammer and a gun. Lots of points there. He's got a gun and a hammer. I like that. The only thing, he's got this big torch above his head that's part of his outfit. I don't know what I feel about that. That feels a bit flamboyant. But other than that, this guy looks like he maybe is a troubled soul that I could appreciate.
Ah.
Yeah,
So
I'm into this one.
So this dude's got like some weird name that I can't even remember, so I'm not going to try it. He belongs to a Space Marine chapter called the Salamanders, and they're usually quite friendly people. The Salamanders, like they actually look after humans. They're like, we're the good guys. We protect humanity. Like that's what we're here to do. This dude is more like, I will protect humanity no matter the cost. So he's like more dour about it, and he's sort of like. So that's sort of his whole thing. He's like, yeah, we are more like there's the Space Marine chapters that are quite brutal and see themselves as like demigods. These guys are more like, we're defenders of humanity. We look after the people, and he is more like, we look after the people no matter the cost. So it's this sort of thing.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting because I see myself as a bit of a demigod. I see myself as above most people. So I wish I was joking. No, so I kind of get the Space Marines thing of like, look, you don't know what's best for you. I'm doing this shit for you because fuck you.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys obviously seem to listen a bit more, but not fully. So I don't know. I like this. I like this guy. it's a little bit 50-50 with the traditional Space Marine and this guy, because I wish the world was like this guy wants it to be. Then I wish it was worth being like this for, but it's not. So currently, I'm more of a traditional Space Marine, I think, in my thinking in the real world, but I want to be more of this. What are these? Do you know this faction or whatever? I don't know. This different faction.
This legion of Space Marines is called the Salamanders. I'm
a Salamander hopeful, but I'm a Space Marine traditionalist, I think, currently, from what you've said. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Fuck this guy. He's got levers and shit coming all the way over this guy. And he's old as shit. Cool. No, that's not for me. Next, my god, this is a bunch of colours and shapes. Is all this looks like to me.
I wanted to throw that on just for you, so you'd be like,
look, this next one is a pirate orc. Cool, pirate orcs. I'm glad they exist. It's not for me. Next,
that's cool. Yeah.
Another front runner.
If I did an orc army, it'd be Pog's armor. Yeah. Okay. So this guy is like. I really think this guy meets all of your criteria, to be honest. He's cheap. He only costs £17.50. He's probably the cheapest one on here. He looks all right, doesn't he? He don't look terrible. His face
cool.
is a bit.
He's missing a gun. He's missing a gun.
Other
than the gun, his pose is very cool. His pose is very cool. He's not too over the top. The chunkiness fits reasonably well. I'm literally only saying gun would be liked.
Well, okay, you're going to like what his hammer does. So, essentially, this guy... Oh, by the way, his lore's great as well, which was another thing, was like, has he got a good story? And the answer is yes, for this dude. But I'll say really quickly about him is he's a blacksmith. So, he started off as a blacksmith. I can, talk about this dude if you want at some point, because he is pretty interesting. But, because he's a blacksmith, he makes his own shit. He doesn't trust in other people's handiwork. He'd run out for half his own stuff, bewield his own stuff. So I don't know about the Terminator plate, which is the armor. But I know he made the shield, and I know he made the hammer, which I don't know what the shield does, but the hammer.
Wait. The Terminator plate is the what?
It's like the armor that he's wearing. It's like the body armor he's wearing, the big chunky armor. So I know he made his shield as well. I don't know what the shield does, but the hammer, he's got a teleportation device built into the hammer and one in his gauntlet. So what he does is when there's an enemy across the way, instead of shooting them, he throws his hammer at them like Thor. It pulps them because he's a fucking Space Marine. It's just bullseyed with a hammer. And then he goes like that with his hammer and it's whoop, back in his hand. Come on.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
I love that.
It's cool, right? This is the thing.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a practical guy, you see.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how. Yeah.
This is the thing. It's annoying because if he just had a decent gun, a decent gun somewhere, even if it were just on his that or something, it'd be a reasonably easy choice that this fella would be, the number one. that hammer technology, it helps. It does help. I'll admit that.
It's
difficult.
I will say, if we were going off all of the criteria you specifically gave me in the beginning, it's hands down. It's this dude. It's all I'm saying. So
I think currently I'm going to have to make some sort of compromise, aren't I? With there's not going to be something that fits all my criteria. We'll look at the next one though, just in case. Actually, no, I've decided we're not gonna, because his wolf looks goofy as fuck. It's a guy, he's riding a wolf, and it looks fucking goofy as shit. He's got claws and no gun. So we've currently got. Let's start from. I'll give you the number that you presented them in. So we've got number 4.
Okay. Yep.
9 and 12.
Yeah.
So could you give us the name or descriptor of each of those?
Okay, so the number 4. So you weren't bothered about the axe guy in the end. You didn't care about number 3.
No.
Okay, so all right, so number 4 you don't really need telling about because it's a dude. It's you do with that what you want to do with that. So then next it would be sorry, I've lost it. The hammer, the salamander, the guy with the hammer and
Yeah.
the flamethrower pistol. Does that alter it at all? It's a flamethrower pistol, so it's not going to be shooting as far as like one with actual projectiles. It's these dudes are super into fire. They fucking love.
A little bit alter
They
it,
love burning shit. But I will say in defense of that, you'll not remember it because we're drunk. You said when we were talking in the Warhammer shit where we had like my top Warhammer is Warhams. You specifically said fire must be incredibly useful in this universe because of how many hordes there are, and like I say, it is incredibly useful. So
that's true. That is true. Maybe that's flipped it the other way.
So there you go. So this dude, God, I'm gonna have to type in like salamander character names, and see what comes up. Warhammer 40k. Oh God, this is gonna fucking take a while. Sorry. Is there anything specific you want to know about this dude while I try and find his name?
No. Tell us the name of the last guy, the hammer dude.
Okay, so I can tell you everything about this dude because I've looked up on him. He's fucking cool. His name's Arjak Rockfist, and what do you want to know about this guy?
Just quick. We got to be quick.
Okay, all right. So he lived on a planet called Fenris, which is a very stereotypical.
He lived on a planet. It's called Fenris, right? I've decided that works. I'm getting this guy. That's convinced me. Cool. That's all I need.
Nice.
He fits into the SpongeBob theme tune, and I think he's cool.
Okay.
Honestly, I know my judging criteria is unorthodox when it comes to these sorts of things, but that's what sold it for me. I'm down with this guy. I mean, you did say he's the cheapest as well, so that does help. But I'm a sucker for Vikings. His hammer does something cool and technological that could be very useful, actually, maybe more useful than a gun. So I'm down with it. I think that's the one I'll get. It'll take me a while to come around to actually buying it, but I will at some point get. Okay. What's his name? What's his name again?
If by some miracle, Arjak Rockfist.
See, you know what as well? That's a better name. That's a better name than this Malchangan Mikacho or whatever. You know, he's got a bit of a deep.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a more normalish name. Cool.
Yeah.
Right then.
I'll tell you what. I'll say really quickly. I'm just gonna link you to his thing. If by some miracle you ever feel like you want to do some reading, which I know is a struggle anyway, it's there. I know you're probably gonna not, but it's there. It's there. If by some miracle you ever did.
Shit, this picture you've sent of him is pretty fucking sweet as well.
There's some fucking cool art of him as well. If you ever wanted to just look at art of him.
Oh, he looks like he could fuck some shit up. Like, he really does.
He does. He fucks stuff up before he was a Space Marine. He's awesome.
Yeah, I'm convinced. I think this is the one for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, okay, so moving on then. We're gonna go through some more stuff that annoys me. Here's one for you. I just took a piss, right? No one realised on the podcast. I made it very subtle.
Just end it.
I made it very subtle. No one even knew. I did a little piss. And typically you would do a piss in a bathroom, right? I'm not going to say where I did my piss. But anyway.
Wait a second. Okay.
Typically you would go to the bathroom to urinate or defecate. So something that annoys me in a bathroom is when there's no mirrors. When there's no mirrors in a bathroom, I know it's primarily not meant for kind of like sprucing yourself up, but it's just annoying, isn't it? Like, I know you primarily go to use the toilet. That's fine. But like, that's where you would accommodate for mirrors to make sure your hair's not messy, make sure you've not like got a bird shit on your shoulder, or I don't know, something like that. Because otherwise you wouldn't see yourself to do that. It's a prime place to put a mirror. When someone doesn't have a mirror in the bathroom, it annoys me. What do you think of that?
It's weird because this actually specifically came into play today. This weird bullshit situation that you presented with me actually came into. So I was at work today, and it was nothing like I didn't desperately need a mirror, but it was just like my hair was fucked from like having the helmet on all day and something, and you know, I just wanted to look at myself in a mirror so I could like just you know, do a bit of something. And I went into the toilets that we have on site, just expecting there to be a mirror above the sink. And, you know, because there usually is. And I walked in and there was no mirror, and I just stood there and went,
Yeah, it's
So
just
I
annoying,
know
isn't
what you
it?
mean, actually.
Honestly, it's a place where you kind of feel like there should reliably be a mirror, and when there's not, it's really annoying. Fuck that, honestly.
I hate how much I actually know what you're talking about.
If I ever, there's certain things like if I ever have an establishment that has a bathroom, if I ever have a house, which I hopefully will soon, I mean at least some point, any bathroom should have a mirror big enough to view an entire face, at least your face. Like if you can only view your eyes in the mirror, like that's fucking weird as well. It should be big enough to view like a normal sized human head. At least that's bare minimum. Speaking of things that should be in rooms, right? If a room is of a sufficient enough size and it's not got a clock on the walls, that just annoys me a bit. Nowadays, we don't need a clock,
about this before.
right? Obviously, a lot of people wear watches. You can see the time on your phone all the time. I get that. This isn't so bad, but I don't really even know why. I just feel like it should be the case. Just, you know, if you've got quite a big... The room I'm in currently, people can see it on the video version. It's a bit bigger than you can see. Obviously, it's maybe twice as big as you can see, not quite. I wouldn't expect this size room to have a clock in, but I'm trying to think of like a standard sized room that everyone will have been in. It's hard to describe. I can't describe it. If a room's big enough, it needs a clock on the wall.
I can. If you're in a doctor's waiting room, there needs to be a clock there.
Different doctors have different size waiting rooms.
Not even because,
and that's a different thing, though. A doctor's waiting room, no matter how big it is, should always have a clock. Even if it's a fucking cupboard, put a clock in there.
But it's less because, you know, you need to know what time your appointment is. It's just more like...
it just needs to be there, doesn't it? You
I
need to hear the tick of the clock.
It's a big room. That's just... Yeah.
No, doctor's waiting rooms vary. It's hard to nail down a specific size room, but if a room's big enough, it needs a clock in. So most living rooms should have some sort of clock on the wall, or at least on a mantelpiece. I think it's hard to describe. I don't know. It's just they just should, shouldn't they? Right? Yeah. Do you agree?
I know. I do actually. Yeah, I do actually know what you mean. Again.
Do you also agree that like? I'm a bit annoyed at myself that I don't even know why. I don't even know why I have this feeling.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. There's no real sense to it. It's like everybody has a phone. Everybody, you know, you can, even if you didn't, you could just ask anybody else in. Because if it's a large enough room, presumably people are going to be in it with you as well. So even if you didn't have any way of telling the time on you, you'd probably just look over at the other guy and say, "Excuse me, do you know the time?" So... And
I don't know. It's just...
And that's another thing. You don't like social interaction, so that's another reason there should be a fucking clock on that wall. So you shouldn't have to talk to that other guy.
Well, speaking of social interaction, Judd, the next one is open comms mics in video games. You know when someone sets their mic to open comms and you can just hear all the background noise? They might be playing some fucking music. They'll be like the mum or some wife in the background going...
Yeah.
Spanking their kid or something. And it's like, oh my god, shut the fuck up! What are you doing?
And don't forget. In the background as well from the dogs.
We'll get to dogs. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
No, open comms in games. The annoying bit about it is you don't have to set it to open comms, and typically most games don't have it as default. So they've chosen to have it as open comms. They've chosen to make everyone else they play with hear all the shit that's going on in their life. Oh my, why would you do that? I don't understand. Like, now there's a bit more understanding for controller players. because you've not got as you can't as easily do push to talk. So for me, I play keyboard and mouse on online games with that sort of stuff, and I press the letter T to do to push to talk. I press and hold T when I need to talk to my teammates if I ever do that. If I'm on a controller, I understand you might not have a particular button that you'd have to press for that. I don't care though. I don't care. I'd rather you not talk at all for me. Or there must be some sort of way of having maybe a foot pedal. I don't know. I know that sounds a bit extreme and most people aren't going to want to go out and buy a foot pedal specifically. But at least make sure that if your comms are going to be clogged with, like, wife going, a dog in the background, or, like, fucking music, like, going off, just don't have your open comms then. You can't. Well, it's a shame. It's a shame. You can't talk on mic then. What a shame. You know? Oh.
Yeah.
Thoughts? I bet you get this in... Do you get that in League? Is that how League of Legends works?
No, you don't get it in League. Do
you even have voice comms in that game?
You do, yeah, but you have to join it. So the thing is, it's like, even if somebody... Like, if I joined voice chat, nobody else can hear me because nobody else has joined voice chat in League. That's how it works. So you can talk on open mics, but the people don't hear you unless they join and want to hear you. So...
Yeah, okay.
But I tell you, it does happen on fucking Battlefield 1, and that is one game where I want to get immersed. Yeah, I want to get immersed in this World War 1 game and, like, you know, have all this intense shit going off. And like you say, I've got some 12-year-old kid and his mum's in the background making fucking dinner, and it's like. And on that, there's not. Derek! I don't think there's like a
Derek,
new...
do you want peas? Do you want peas with your tea?
It's like shut up! I'm trying to defeat the German Empire.
Drop peas.
That's what you get. That's how...
it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, I hate it. And speaking on that even further, now you gotta bear with me on this. It's gonna sound bad to start with. Foreigners. Okay?
You can't say that! You're not allowed to say that. We'll get in trouble.
I've framed that made me sound racist for a bit of a joke. But what I mean is that in North America, I'm basing this on Apex Legends because that's the only game I've ever kind of played with people online realistically. But people who are in America, you got enough people playing that game on North American servers that you're going to get matched with Americans every single time. I don't live in America. I live in Europe. So there's a lot of different languages. And the annoying thing is, obviously, I rarely get matched with people from England or from the UK when I play Apex Legends. Very, very rarely. It's more often than not people somewhere else in Europe, in mainland Europe. The annoying thing about this is they all start just blabbering on open comms in their language that no one else in the rest of Europe speaks. Like, you might get someone from fucking Estonia just spamming Estonian voice chats down the thing. No one else fucking speaks Estonian. No one else in Europe speaks it. No one speaks it. So why are you spamming Estonian down the mic? You know that you're probably not getting matched with an Estonian. So why are you speaking Estonian? You know? I'm not hating on Estonians, you know. There's Hungarians maybe might do the same thing, or Greek people might do the same thing. The thing is, right, do you know what language most people do speak in Europe? I'll give you fucking 3 guesses, Judd. What language do most people in Europe speak? I'll give you fucking 3 guesses. I'm not giving you 3 guesses. Fuck you. It's English, right? Everyone speaks English, okay? Even if you only speak a tiny bit of English, that's better than going... That's what it sounds like to me. Obviously, that sounds awful. God. That's what it sounds like. I don't know that language, okay? I don't know it. So why is your first port of call a language that you know most people who you're going to get matched with aren't going to speak? Your first port of call should be English. This isn't a risk. If most people said French instead, if French was very well spoken in a lot of countries, and they started speaking French, that'd be the one I'd be rooting for as well. Right? I'm just lucky that my primary language is the one that most people speak. I fully realise that. But why do a lot of people immediately go for their own language when they know no one else is going to be speaking it on their team? What's that about?
You know, Jake, I hate all people who use open mic equally because I'm not a fucking bigot like you, I guess. So I
have got a funny
what
story
say
based
about
on
that
this,
one.
by the way. I've made a new Apex Legends account because mine got banned out of nowhere. Fuck you, Respawn. No, please sponsor us. I want to play Apex more. It's gotten quite good, actually. So I got banned out of nowhere. I don't know why it fucking happened. I tried to get my account back, and they just said, "Nah, you were cheating, mate." And I was like, no. But it gave me a good excuse to quit playing the game for a while. So I've been playing again recently, and because I made a new account, and I've got quite a lot of the skills retained from when I used to play it. It put me in noob lobbies, but I'm pretty good at the game. So there's a new arenas mode, so you don't have to play Battle Royale. I think you would really like it, actually. We should play arenas. You should download Apex. We should play some arenas. I think you'd like it.
I've still not downloaded it.
Yeah, at some point, download it over a while. But anyway, so I was playing arenas, and I was stomping this lobby because, like, I've put over 2,000 hours into that game in total, and the people who I was playing against have probably only played it maybe 100 hours total. So I could easily do really well. So the team I was with were like, "Oh, do you want to party? Do you want to play?" And I was kind of like, "Well, as soon as I play 2 more games, it's going to put me in way harder lobbies. They're going to struggle loads. They're not going to enjoy it, and it's just going to be kind of annoying. So I don't really want to drag them into these really hard lobbies with me. It won't be fair on them, and it'd not be fun for me to play with." So I didn't want to play with them, basically. And I didn't want to just go, "No, you shit," because that's they weren't shit, but like, So I just pretended to not speak English. And I've been I've been studying Swedish, okay? And I could speak enough Swedish to pretend that I only speak Swedish to English people. So if I can give you a demonstration right now. Jag talar inte engelska, ursäkta.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
I sorry. Mina engelska är inte bra. It's not good. I would be like that.
You can get it,
So that's what I did. I thought that was quite funny. It's a good joke. That's the only time learning a language has ever been useful for me. So there you go.
Nice.
Moving on. The next thing that annoys me is Sunday. Sundays, Judd. You've been around for Sundays. In England,
I've had one or two
right?
of them, yeah.
Because we've got a religious base, a Christianity base for our country, on Sundays, things are a lot more likely to be shut, or at least shut a lot earlier. And I don't like that. That's annoying. I don't like it. It's very inconvenient. Just a lot of people, right? They struggle for. There's plenty of people that's in poverty that struggle for jobs nowadays. Struggle for shifts. If you opened up all of Sundays, there's plenty of people who'd be willing to work on those Sundays. And if I want a pizza on a Sunday, I want to be able to order a fucking pizza on a Sunday. If I want to go buy some Lego at 1 a.m. on a Sunday, I want the Lego store to be open, is what I'm saying. At I realise some of this is more ridiculous than other bits of this, but a general convenience store, right, should be open. At least a good amount of those should be open 24 hours a day, no matter what day it is. And why is Sunday special? Why is Sunday the one that people... Why? Who cares? There's plenty of people who work.
Because
it's not
Sunday was the day when God rested. God rest on Sunday, so we shall do the same.
You know what we should do? We should arrest God for making Sundays shit. Because I'm sick of it. I want to go get a can of Monster, right? But there's a specific flavour of Monster energy drink that I like. It's not like the rest of them. But it's better than the rest of them. And I like it. And it's only served at the garage over there. I'm pointing to it right now, right? But it shuts at like 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and I want it at 8 p.m. I want it now. Okay? Stop showing on Sunday! It's not really actually that inconvenient. If I really wanted it, I could buy it the day before. But, it could be better though.
If you're going to ask me my opinion on Sundays, I don't mind Sundays.
It's not Sundays in general. Sundays are a nice day. Sunday, fun day. and typically, because certain things shut, it forces you to be a bit more relaxed with what you do. You have to go and kind of do something in nature, maybe. I don't know. But I don't want to be forced into doing that. If I want to go in nature, I'll do it myself. Is kind of I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. Restaurants, Judd. Remember Nando's? Remember how good Nando's is? Do you know what I don't like about Nando's? Which you don't get at pubs and things like that. Tips. Leaving tips at a restaurant. I actively, specifically, try to avoid tipping if I ever can. Certain scenarios, tipping your server, as they say in America, or tipping your waitress, tipping your waiter, whatever. It's a lot bigger in America, a lot bigger, because they fucking well underpay their employees, which they shouldn't do. Just pay them the right wage. Why would you... Tips, right? A tip from a customer is incredibly unnecessary. It's actually offensive, and it's straight up the only reason it could ever exist is for a richer person who owns a restaurant to take advantage of either their employees or their customers. So I morally try and avoid doing it ever. If it's a case where I think, God, these people could really do with these, like, you know, waiters, waitress, whatever, could really do with a bit of helping out, I might give a bit. But that's the only time. Because other than that, the whole concept pisses me off.
Yeah. I also I'd like tipping if someone's has, you know, I specifically have enjoyed, you know, them in their...
If they've done a particularly good job, if they've done a really good job somehow, they've gone above and beyond.
Yeah, but to make it a regular thing, and you know, I agree. I have also watched the Adam Ruins Everything episode about why tipping's bad. So
I have watched that, but I forgot that I've watched that. But he did that whole episode about just restaurants in general, which was really... Adam Ruins Everything. Good fucking show. I specifically really liked it when they did an episode about how bad their show is. You know? Adam ruins his own show by saying, these are all the things we actually got really wrong. So I really appreciated that and thought that's pretty good. Overall, Adam Ruins Everything. What a good show. I don't know how many seasons that's got, but it should get more. I feel like it's been cancelled. Anyway, I'm just checking the video and audio and stuff of this podcast because we seem to be dropping a lot of frames. My internet's not working enough for me to do that. We're just going to deal with it. We've dropped 13.7% of frames of this stream. I actually, just another quick thing to mention, I've adjusted settings on OBS for streaming and recording, so it might be a little bit different looking. That's so that we can play video games and the stream won't lag. It shouldn't make a difference to quality, but just in case it does. Anyway, moving on. This is a bit of a personal thing, but I feel like this could be annoying for a lot of people. You know when you're whistling, right? You might be in public, maybe, or you might just be at home and you're whistling, you're like... Did you hear that? I was whistling along.
I didn't hear anything. It was silent.
I was just whistling.
Silent.
So you're whistling, you're like, you're whistling along, and then someone else close to you starts whistling something else. They start whistling, and they're whistling a different tune. And honestly, I take it as like a personal offense. It's like, bruh, you can hear me whistling here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you whistling something else? What, are you offended by my whistle? Do you want a different one to take over? What's going on? What are you doing that for? No? Is this just me?
It's so the thing is, I don't have this problem because I can't whistle. I don't know how to whistle. I can.
I forgot that you actually can't whistle.
The only time when I can whistle is like when I'm calling my dog, and I only have like a 50-50 chance to pull that off. Like I can't
Give it a
whistle
go.
a tune.
Give it a go
I
now.
can't do
See,
it.
try it.
What like
Give us your
kinda
best whistle. Try
for,
your
like, my
best to
dog.
do a decent whistle.
Hold on, no, wait. I can't do it. I can't do it like when people want me to do it. It's so weird. It's
Come on.
I can't do it. I can't do it when it's so.
Do you know your problem? You're not using the right technique. I can tell you right now.
How do you do it?
And I remember. I weirdly, specifically remember our dad trying to teach you how to whistle, and him teaching you the wrong technique. And I'm thinking, as a young child, this is not going to work. This is not good whistling technique. You try and use your teeth.
Specifically taught him wrong as a joke.
This is how you whistle.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm doing there? My whistle, right? You know when you've got a bottle, an empty bottle, and you blow over the top of it and make that nice tone. I'll do it right now for you.
Yeah.
It's quite a deep bottle. Don't sound great, but that is what you're doing with whistling, okay? So you're not using your teeth at all. You make a hole with your mouth.
All right.
And you kind of blow air through it in a certain way. I'm not going to get you to whistle right now. You might have to look up some YouTube tutorials, but that's a better way. So you go... Could you hear that?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Could you hear it? So you whistle, you blow air through that hole in a certain way, and it will make you whistle. You're gonna have to look up some YouTube tutorials. I don't fucking give a shit enough to teach you this. I don't even really know how I do it. But there you go. Anyway, if someone whistles while you're whistling, it's like an offence. It's like,
well, you ain't gonna worry about me doing that to you.
It feels like they're like, mate. It feels like they're saying to you, "You're whistling shit, though. I'm gonna do my own." Like, fuck you. It'd be like, if you were a DJ and you were DJing in the club, you're playing your bangers and all that.
Yeah.
And some of the people who'd come to your dance floor, to your set to listen, brought some massive speakers and just started blasting out some different music. That's what it feels like.
I feel like I feel like it's more like if you were busking in the street and you were stood there sort of just doing it, playing along, and then some dude set up right next to you and then started like playing something else.
Yeah,
For me, it's more like that. It's like what? Well, sorry, what's happening?
Yeah, sorry, is my music not good enough for your fucking sensibilities?
It's a different thing if they come in and start playing the same song, like maybe something like that.
Yeah, playing along
hey,
with
we've got
you,
a bit
maybe.
of a thing going here. Yeah. But yeah, when they just come in with something completely different, yeah, I get it.
A similar thing is when you're watching something. So this is something my girlfriend does. If she watches this, which she won't, then fuck you for doing this. If I'm watching, so say I'm watching a video on my phone, playing the audio out loud, because I've not got any headphones or whatever. It's not in public. It's in a private setting. I'll be watching a video, and then she goes on her phone and starts playing a different video out loud and playing the audio. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm trying to listen to this video. Why have you started playing your own video? Just shut up. Go somewhere else or put some headphones in or don't play the audio or something. Why would you choose to also compete with my video? What were you doing? I'm trying to watch this shit. That annoys me. And I think that's TikTok culture for you right there. I reckon people who are watching 2 TikToks at once wouldn't give a shit. Whereas I'd be watching a YouTube video, a classic, good old boys type of video watching. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Does your sister do that? I bet your sister does that.
See, again, I don't live with my sister, so I wouldn't know if she does that.
Again, I forgot I have a sister, so... Genuine question, when was the last time you actually saw your sister?
I saw her last Sunday because we went over to theirs for
boring.
Sunday dinner. So
make up a different, funnier answer, and I'll edit this and better.
I've never even seen my sister. Whoa! I've not seen my sister, and this is the face I make in my thumbnail.
Actually, low-key, I do want to capture some thumbnail images from you after this podcast, just so I can, make some decent, a range of emotion faces, so I can make some decent thumbnails.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's an annoying one. We've got a couple more. Here's one for you. This is one that might annoy you, but it depends how much you've done online shopping. This happens a lot on Depop, but it does happen a lot on Facebook Marketplace. I understand to not interact with these things, but when you're on one of these shopping sites and the item is marked as £1 or $1, but in the description it says, send me offers. No. You want to sell this item for £1. You've marked it as £1. That's the price, right? You marked this item as £1. Don't hit me with the send me offers in the description. Fuck you. Okay? There's an account on Instagram called Depop Drama or something like that I've followed, because it's quite funny, because there's some fucking mental people on Depop that send you messages like, will you sell me this for 20 pence when it's worth 9 grand or something? I don't know. There's a bunch of weird drama like, oh, my boyfriend messaged you, wanted to buy this thing. Will you never talk to him again, please? Actually, that's quite disrespectful that you'd start talking to my boyfriend. Stuff like that. But one of the things that they put on it is...
Yeah.
Some of the things that they kind of bitch about on this channel that I actually disagree with on this account is when an item's marked as £1, but in the description it says message me for offers, and people buy it because you can just buy it for £1. That's a thing you can do. And then the person who's selling it, if they've listed it at £1, declines the offer and is like, it's not actually up for £1. You have to message me for offers. Well, fuck you then. Don't do that. Don't put it up for £1. What are you doing? What are you doing that for? I understand that that's kind of part of the culture. That's a thing that has been done. But stop doing it then, because it's a stupid thing to do. You're the one that says the price. You're selling it. This is the antithesis of the people who say, what's your best offer? This is that in reverse, and it's just as annoying. Why? Why are you doing this? Put what you want to sell it for, and then someone can give you an offer if they want to. This is really... I really get annoyed at this.
So... the only time I've done something sort of like this is... Where the fuck... Oh, okay, sorry. The only time I've done something like this is when I was selling a load of different Warhammer models. But I was selling them all separately, so I didn't have a set price for the whole thing. So
I took the pictures.
I put the price tag as 40,000. Yeah. Well, no, this is something I was selling something else, but that got sold. But anyway, so I put the listing thing as 40,000, but then in the description, I had what I wanted for every model. I didn't, I had what I wanted. Yeah,
it's a little bit of a different thing. In that scenario, I would have put the price as what I wanted for the full thing. That's the price I would have set for it, and then also in the description put willing to sell individually, price it, and then put the prices individually. That's the way to do that.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, these people who just put it for £1.
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't make any sense. I can't. I just get annoyed at it. Look, right, that's the last thing, the last one that is annoying is dogs.
Wholesale. Dogs wholesale.
Yeah, dogs in general, they're annoying. They should never have been domesticated. Dogs should not be domesticated. They shouldn't live in suburban areas. They're not got enough space. Same with cats, right? Cats, they need to live on farms, places with loads of space, loads of wildlife, all that sort of stuff. If you think that, oh, my dog's happy though, you're fucking lying. It's not. It could be way happier, right? Fuck you. Dogs should not be domesticated. Certain breeds are way more justifiable. For example, King Charles Spaniel. If you live in a reasonably kind of remote area, it's quite suburban, not a city. You could do that. If you've got a fucking Springer Spaniel, which is very trendy nowadays, fuck you if you don't live on a farm and walk it for 8 hours a day and hunt things with it. It's bored out of its brain, right? When you see Mr. Incredible in his cubicle at the start of the Incredibles movie, and he looks like he's about to fucking top himself. That's how your dog
Yeah.
feels when you've tried to domesticate it. It's not a me thing. It's not even a me thing. Well, it is a me thing. I fucking hate the noise that they make and everything and the shit that's everywhere. I actually don't like it for me. Not going to lie. But mostly, it's for the dogs. It's for the dogs. Stop it. Stop keeping dogs. That's the end of the podcast, right? We're not even going to have an argument on it. I don't even give a shit. I mostly because I really need to piss. And it's been going on for ages.
I need a big shit as well.
Please tell us your opinions at Tweets Badly and let us know what you thought about all this sort of thing. Subscribe on YouTube. The Streams Badly YouTube channel has all this podcast. You can follow us. Streams Badly, I believe, is the account on Spotify, but the podcast is called Podcast Badly, obviously, on Spotify. You've got video and audio versions on there because, obviously, video versions on Spotify hasn't been available the whole time. That's how that works. But audio-only versions on Apple Podcasts and many other streaming platforms, such as Anchor, which is a sponsor of this podcast. Shout out to Anchor. Free shout out right there. It's probably the best way to listen to it. Gonna be honest. You can submit all sorts of questions, queries. You can even record voice messages and send us to them via Anchor if you do that. So it's pretty cool. That's all of that. That's the end of a podcast. Thank you very much. Judd, what's your final words? Strangle your dogs. Why would you say that, Judd? What the fuck? That's such a horrible saying to say.
No.
Oh my god. Anyway.